Hey, I'm Pieter Elm, and this is Trucks to Tech. As you know, I'm currently completing a degree in applied computer science while working full-time. That means that besides studying and working, I also have to do all the housework. So that means cooking, cleaning, laundry, you name it. On top of that, I've got a girlfriend of 4 years who'd like to see me once in a while, and my friends and family, well, I'd hate for them to forget what my face looks like. It's insane. It's chaotic. And frankly, sometimes I wonder how I managed to get it all done. But evidently, I am getting it all done somehow. So with around 5 to 6 courses that I take every semester, how do I find the time to cram all of that into my skull? Well, here's how. So, welcome to my workstation. I typically work at my kitchen table because it's the biggest surface I have, and I really like to put everything I need just on the kitchen table so it's within easy reach. I've got obviously my laptop, my external hard drive, books that I need for referencing, writing utensils, and over here my actual printed courses. University College of Ghent works with an online platform known as Camilo. This is used by both regular students and the distance learners. So when I log in, I land on my homepage. This homepage is fully customizable. You can move all the widgets, you can add some, you can remove them, whatever you like. At the center here, I've got my courses, which is the most important part of Camilo. To the left, there's a number of tools, including tools for Windows, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, email, the ECTS files, some other stuff. And then here there's an application, IBAMAFlex, which is used to manage your application and registration at the school. But we're going to be focusing on this, on the courses here. There's 2 types. You've got the curriculum courses, which are the ones you're actually getting graded for. And then you've got some general courses containing some information for students in general, information about the Camilo platform, information for distance learners. You've got some information for the people who are doing an exchange program known as Erasmus, and a whole bunch of other stuff. But we're going to be focusing on the curriculum courses. Now, each course is very different. The lecturer has freedom to manage this as they see fit. Now, some lecturers just dump their slides onto Camilo with minimal extra explanation and, a handful of exercises. But that really doesn't work for a lot of courses, especially courses like analysis, where you have to learn to write good use cases, among other things. And if you only have 2 short examples and some brief feedback on exercises you did, yeah, you're really not going to learn how to write effective use cases. So grades for those courses tend to be lower on average because of that. But on the whole, lecturers really do their best in supplying you with quality courses, with extra explanations, many exercises with detailed solutions, etc. Some lecturers really go the extra mile. So in every course you have a number of tools that you can use. You've got some announcements, documents, the ECTS file again. Lecturers can also add fora, chat, they can add exercises with automated feedback. There's a whole bunch more. But the most important thing is the learning path, as this contains all the learning materials that you're supposed to know to be able to do the exam. I'm going to open the one for Object-Oriented Programming 3. As you can see to the left-hand side, this is divided into chapters. We've got data structures, collections, lambdas and streams, generics, multi-threading, MVC, GPA and network programming. And some lecturers also add an example exam so that you can get an idea of what kind of question you can expect. If we open a chapter, in this case data structures, you can see that there are a number of documents below that. Then usually you've got the actual slides. This is a very brief chapter because data structures have already been seen in quite a lot of detail in Algorithms 1. Usually then you have some exercises in a separate file, and then the remainder of the files are just the source code so you can get started with these exercises. Then you've also got some test files to see if your code is correct. For projects we work a little differently. We use GitHub to manage our projects, which is necessary because we're distance education students, we don't have a lot of time, and it's very difficult to fit our different calendars together so we can meet. So GitHub is essential to be able to complete projects in distance learning. A lot of the challenge of projects comes from the fact that, well, many members quit along the way, especially the first project. Just studying and working full-time simultaneously is challenging enough, but these projects really bring that to a whole other level. You see, for these projects, you have to set aside time to work on it every week, because every week you're supposed to report on your progress and you're getting feedback based on that. A lot of people quit just because of that. It really becomes practically impossible to combine. So by the end of the first project, half of all team members had quit. When I'm studying a regular course, what I do first typically is checking the course catalog to see what will be covered. If there's any papers, by when I'm supposed to have completed what, that kind of thing. I also quickly scan through the course materials to see what I can expect. Is it a course heavy on exercises? Am I expected to study chunks from some book or learning platform like Cisco's? Then I go through the theory. I tend to use highlighters to indicate the structure of the course. I've got an elaborate highlighting system, so we've got orange and yellow to mark important keywords, purple for titles and key concepts, then I've got blue for formulas, algorithms and the like, and then I've got green for very important examples. I sometimes underline important distinctions as well. When I'm finished with a chapter, before I do any exercises, I make a paper summary on this cool yellow paper. I don't look at the syllabus anymore once I'm done with it. Even when revising, I will only use my own notes, so I make sure that everything that's important is in here. Then I make the exercises. If there's a lot of them, I tend to skip selectively. I try to make sure that I understand everything, so if there's a type of exercise that I'm comfortable with, I just skip the rest. Try to focus on the challenging exercises because often they teach me some new tricks or give me a new understanding of the subject at hand. Will also add all of that to my notes. And if I find that there's an error that I tend to make a lot, that will go into my notes as well. Here you can see that in Algorithms Part 1, I tended to forget my constants when writing down the formula for the time complexity of a certain algorithm. I didn't forget them on the exam. Whenever I don't truly understand something, I look it up. The explanations given in the course tend to be very terse and are supposed to be supplemented by additional explanation. But because I don't go to class, I don't get it. I find that very often getting some extra explanation on a subject from a different perspective helps in understanding a subject. So if I'm just having trouble understanding one small part of the course, why bother finding an explanation for it? Well, not understanding one single concept can easily cascade in not understanding 10 different ones, and that's gonna cost you a lot of time. Look at that, the sun is shining on this beautiful autumn day, so let's take advantage. I like to tackle one course at a time, because every course is laid out differently. I find it easier to just get into a groove and finish a course in a couple of weeks, rather than change the subject you're studying every night. The trouble is, as your education progresses, you're supposed to do papers and evaluations during the semester, so that makes you lose a lot of the flexibility you need as a distance student to complete this with success. And especially when you're having a hard time at your job, like I am right now. But in the end, it's worth it for me to get that degree and go into a job that I can enjoy for the next 40 years. To be able to do this, I spend a lot of time studying. On weekdays, I'm usually staying up until 1 or 2 a.m. to be able to complete all on time. And at 7 a.m. I have to get back up to go to my job. I try to reserve 2 nights a week to see my girlfriend and occasionally see some family and friends. Most of the time I try to spend the weekend studying from morning till evening, but often I make room for social events like baby showers and dinners and birthday parties and the occasional brewing session. Hell, 2 weeks ago I went to Rotterdam with a few friends. I'm kind of a procrastinator though, and admittedly I spend a lot of my time on YouTube listening to music and looking at the different channels that I'm following. It doesn't help that as an IT student I always need to have my laptop open. Luckily I'm quite good at getting stuff done when holy shit that's due next week! I had to study web applications 1 and 2 in respectively 3 and 5 days time. Not something I want to do on a regular basis. But in the end, it's all worth it when you get your grades and you see you've passed every course and you're one step closer to getting that degree that you're working so hard to get. Without a strong motivation, without an intrinsic need to get this degree, you won't make it. But it can be done if you know what you're doing.